Another episode, Invest in Your Future. I'm your host, Kenny, Coach Kenny, CEO of Kayongo Group Corporation. I want to thank you guys for joining me for another episode. We have been extremely busy, a lot of phone calls coming in, a lot of business coming in. So we're just really been absent, and it's really becoming a habit because I have to figure out a way to make sure I still come with episodes, but I might just cut it to once a month and bring on people who are knowledgeable and people who are smart, people smarter than me, that I can bring on their knowledge. And that way I give you more content in once a month and be able to still be able to give you content, but I still don't want to miss too many weeks of dropping the show. So today I really want to bring on a special guest of mine, a friend of mine, Brian Kayongo, my friend. He's from East Africa, same as me, hard worker, and I want to give him time to really introduce himself and tell his story, and then also give you guys some help in terms of how he's done it, how he's become as successful as he's become. And so, Brian, you want to introduce yourself? Welcome to the show.
Oh yeah, thank you so much, Ken, for the opportunity. I love helping out entrepreneurs and having discussions with them, because that's how I grow, because we're learning from each other, from all the discussions we take on. So my name is Brian Kayongo. I'm married to Lois Kayongo. We've been married now, it's close to 3 years. We thank God for that. And it's been an entrepreneur since when I was a teenager, from Uganda. I wrote a book. If some of you people, you have read my book, it's called The Enterprising Entrepreneur. So my story, it includes in when I started a chapati business. That's what was one of my first business, like a serious structure of a business. That's what I started with. But I've been in different industries of entrepreneurship. Right now, as of today, I'm in the healthcare sector, whereby me and my wife will own a healthcare company, Mindful Healthcare Agents. So I'm one of the co-founders, but I'm in the department of financing and accounting in that company. And my wife, she's a CEO of that company. So it has been a wonderful journey learning from different entrepreneurs in that industry. And today, I got an invitation from Ken a couple of weeks ago asking me to be able to come and share my experience in finance, in business finance, because that's one of my expertise in finance. So like how we can help out different businesses to get financing, and how they can structure their businesses to be ready for any finance they need to be taking on from other future investors or present investors they are looking for to be able to invest in their businesses. So, and also I've worked with Kenny on different occasions, like teaching out other young entrepreneurs outside there who are looking to start businesses to kickstart themselves in the different levels of business. So that has been a wonderful experience, also me working with him, Kenny. Thank you so much for inviting today. I'm excited to do this with you today.
Yes, definitely. Me too. Listen, Brian's a great friend of mine. He's telling the truth. We've done seminars together. He's all over my YouTube channel because I have seminars, clips of it. He's on there teaching people. And that's why I wanted to bring him on. And he's the CFO of Mindful Healthcare Agency, which is he started from zero. I saw him from zero, and now he has 76 employees. I mean, that's impressive, guys. That's in a short period of time, he's grown his business. Him and his wife, they've grown a beautiful business that helps the industry. And I wanted to bring him on so he can tell you guys how he's done it, and also maybe you can learn from him and be able to, emulate him, or, ask him questions or reach out to him if you need to. So Brian, I mean, I know you came here, let's just give a little background. You started just working. I think you worked at the bank, right?
Yeah. So when I came here, it was around, I think this is like 9 years ago, I think around like 2011. So I started at CVS. I worked at CVS for around like a year. Then I joined Shows. It's still the same. That me working at CVS and Shows really taught me customer service, like relating to people, because every second you're talking to someone, every second someone is checking out. So it gives you a category of seeing different levels of different people, knowing how people react. Because like if you want to know about someone's life, see them when they're doing grocery shopping. That's when you know what do they like to eat, what interests them much more, because what people consume is really important. You get to know and understand their culture, their character, all that kind of things.
Wow.
So after that, I joined the banking sector, where I joined with Digital Federal Credit Union. It was a miracle for me to join it, because I will tell you the truth, I applied almost like 5 times and they denied me. But that didn't stop me. What I did, I was like, this time around when I apply, I'm just going to go there. So I applied and I just got into the car, drove there, and I said, like, I've applied to this place like 5 times and no, I don't receive any response. No one is giving me an answer that why am I denied. So to them here, please give me an opportunity to at least to show you that I can do better. So thank God, through doing that, the manager gave me an opportunity and says, you come in for an interview, and through the interview, I got a job. And that's when I joined the banking sector here in the US. But before even me coming to the US, I used to do marketing for Crane Bank Uganda. Like, I used to go to churches, mosques, everywhere looking for bank accounts. Like, you get commission. So like, surprisingly, I had some people who are working at Crane Bank. They send me out also to look for them accounts. So I've been in that. I like banking, because banking, it's a good industry. Like, it gives you the structure. I learned so much about like this country. One of the most important things which I understand how this country runs on, it's like it runs on like credit, and it runs on insurance, and it runs on another thing will be like finance. Most of those 3 structures, if you understand them most of the times, you're able to understand how category you can grow into different, especially financially, you can be able to grow. Understanding the insurance part, understanding the credit, and understanding the income structure, how you can be able to bring in your income for yourself. Because so many people, the income structure, look at the side of taxation. If you are receiving passive income or if you are receiving active income, there's a different way you're going to be taxed. So you understanding those 3 structures can take you to the next level. Yeah.
Nice. See, that's the mind that you guys need to study right there. You understand? Understanding that he studied people and he didn't quit when he applied 5 times to DCU. That's persistence. Yeah. You have to be persistent. And then on top of that, he learned that how the industry works in terms of, insurance. Insurance is a big game. Credit is all the banks. So understanding how those structures work, and then also obviously and understanding income, you could really do a lot with that knowledge. And Brian's done the same thing. I think that's great. That's great, Brian. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you had applied 5 times and they denied you 5 times. But you got the job.
5 times.
Yeah, you got the job. You went into banking. You started working with Crane Bank of Uganda. And then how did you start, your entrepreneur in terms of healthcare, get into the business? What made you transition?
So when I applied with DCU, so I entered DCU, I met this wonderful manager, and I for all my life, I thank this lady, because she taught me so much about, like, by that time I had just been in this country, like I think 2.5 years almost. So this nice lady, she was the manager for that branch where I was working. Like, she taught me stuff at the level almost of a manager. I was like at the teller line, but I was that kind of a person. Like, when I had my free time, I go to her, teach me this. Like, and she had the willingness of teaching me. Like, so many people get their jobs and they are just there to do their job. For me, I was there to learn more of what I even am doing. So that's what was more important for me. So when I was there, she kept on teaching me different levels of skills. So during that time, even I got a chance to meet my wife today, that we got together and we had the same interest of being entrepreneurs. So I started learning about her industry, the healthcare industry. So she introduced me to different kinds of things, like this is how it works, what and what. And I saw it was an interesting industry. So, and by that time she was even thinking about starting a company. But by that time we didn't give it so much thought of like starting and pushing on it. We just kept on discussing about it back and forth. Then I kept on working at the bank. But usually during when I was working at the bank, one of the most important thing which I learned, it was like them they see you to be able to grow. So I was like, okay, when I start my business, how am I going to be able to utilize this knowledge which I'm learning from here? Mm-hmm. So I kept on learning. So and like you can't be the greatest entrepreneur if you don't learn. Like you see all these great entrepreneurs we have of today, like we have the Warren Buffett, you see the Bill Gates, all these people, like they're not just being genius, but they are great entrepreneurs. The Elon Musk, like they have the skills of like every day that they're learning something. So for me, my goal was at that time learning. Even of today, I'm learning. Even on today, if I don't know something, I'm going to ask someone, okay, Kenny, do you know about this? I'm going to see what books is Kenny learning. Me too, I should learn some additional skills. Kenny is good at real estate. Let me track on the books which Kenny is learning. So we need to be curious every time. Like, okay, if I don't have a certain skill, who puts in more time to learn that certain skill, so that me too, I can tap into what they're doing, so that I can add on my knowledge every day. So that really helped me during that time. But for me, it was so hard to first soak in to quit my job. But she said, no, we have to do this. Go in and be able to start this as quick as possible. So I was like, okay, what am I supposed to be able to be ready to start a business like her? And what knowledge am I bringing in? So like sometimes when you are having a pattern in the business, you need to know your. So for me, I had to know what is my best strength. My best strength was finance. And not only in finance, I had to know how to structure businesses, how the businesses has to be set up, and how her strongest side was like the healthcare side. She knew customer service more than me in that industry. She knew how that industry is structured more than me. But we kept on helping each other. Like, what is your best take on this? What is this and this? And that's how we are able to start the business. So when we started the business, my main focus, the first thing in business, you can structure the business whether you want it or how, but you have to get licenses for businesses. And to get licenses, you have to be financially stable in the business. Mm-hmm. That's why today, like Kenny was really wanted me coming on here to teach people, like, how are you going to get the money to start the business? Because so many people want to start the business, but the next question someone is going to ask you, okay, how am I going to get the money to start the business? Mm-hmm. The first income, the first investment you do for yourself, I tell people, Kenny, is that time. People think it's money. That's the first finance you put for yourself. Like finance people, like most of the people think like the money, the first investment in the business. As today we are going to talk about finance, they think finance is going to be talking. We are going to be talking about like the income which they have to invest to start the business. No, the first investment is time. That time you keep on putting in, it's going to generate ideas, and the ideas are going to generate the revenue you need to be able to get. So we started a business. So when we started the business, we put in our time. I was putting in a lot of time. I see people should not complain on putting in time. If you're working 60 hours, thank God you can be able to do 60 hours. If you're working 70 hours, thank God you can be able 100 hours, put them in. Because later in the future, you're not going to be able to put in like 100 hours. So we started Mindful Healthcare Agents, as Kenny said, like we are right now having 76 employees. And I thank God for that, because it has been a journey. We have been now in business for 5.5 years. So 75 employees. And I thank all the people who are working with us who know me. I've been building a blog to be able to building that 76 hours, because like having those kind of numbers working for you, your finance has to be in stable line, because people, you can do all the work you want to do with people, but if people don't get their check, you are not in business. So the most important thing is that people need to get paid. Like as Kenny says, like you can do all the work you want to do, but you need to get paid, because everyone puts in their effort and they have to get the income they need.
Exactly.
I think, Kenny, I'm still on track on what we're discussing. So when me and Lois, we started a business, I had to structure our business in a form whereby it's financially stable so that we can see growth. Mm-hmm. So the first 1 year is that you create, I'll demonstrate, you create levels of growth. So usually I keep them in the in quarterly levels. So principle of business 101 is that you have to pay yourself. The moment you're not paying yourself, you're not going to have the courage to pay other people. Mm-hmm. So the first principle of everything, you pay yourself first. Make sure that as you are putting in the effort, pay yourself first. Mm-hmm. Then you will be having the courage to pay other people. So you structuring your company to be ready to get someone financing in your business. Number one, you have to have people like you build structure goals for your company. The structure goals, I'll give an example that your business wants to make like $100,000 in yeah. So that will give you the structure level of like each quarter you have to be making like 25,000. The 25,000 which you have to be making in the structure level, that's your let me assume you're in all those 4 quarters you make 100,000 at the end of the year. Then we have what the net income and all that stuff. Let me say your net profit is like 25% of what you have made, because in business, everyone, you need to structure like, oh, what is the end number? People forget so much and they look at the sales. Sales are there, but like after the sales and all your expenses, how do you control your expenses? Because your expenses are going to give you this net income, which all the banks are going to be looking at when they are giving you money. They're going to be saying, okay, is this person having the principles of keeping the money into the business, or they are just throwing because sometimes the owners tend to overpay themselves. Sometimes you overpay the employees when you're not supposed to be. You need to have mergers of like, okay, how do you pay your employees? The structure percentages, each quarter. So each quarter you get to know, okay, if I'm making this certain number of amount of revenue, how much am I spending on payroll? How much am I spending on expenses? How much am I spending on this? So all that stuff, you need to put it into categories so that you have the best number here, which is your net profit. So because the banks, when they come to you, they look at the net profit and they usually get a percentage. Usually banks, they can tell you 75% of your revenue, that's what we are going to borrow you. So banks, when they come to borrow you, they're going to look at your credit score. Kenny, I saw one of your videos, you're teaching people about like their business credit score. So the business credit score is important. It's not the same as the personal credit score. But usually if you're a business and you are structured to, that's why you see Kenny tells you today, open up your structure of the business, because the first question before banks borrow you money is number one, how long have you been in business? Don't so, Kenny? That's what the banks are asking.
Exactly. It's not even it's the backbone. It's your backbone in terms of if you're trying to build something in terms of a business, you have to have that ability to borrow money, and you have to put yourself in the best situation to be able to borrow that money. I mean, Brian's worked in a bank, so he's telling you exactly that the higher your money that you put down for your business, the higher the banks will be able to loan to you, because they see that your business is making money.
Yeah.
So that's the big picture right here. It's understanding that you can get yourself higher levels of loans and higher levels of or the banks can look at you at a high level because you keep more money into the company, and that way they can lend you more on top of that. You said 70%, right? 75%? Yeah. So that's money that you can use for your business to grow even more. So that's a very great thing to do. Thanks, Brian. That's great. And also I love the way you said, break down big goals. Like if you want to make 100,000, like you said, just break it down quarters and then break it down to daily, where you can actually track on how you are on goal to either reach that 25,000 per quarter or the 100,000 for the year. That's very great. That's good, Brian. So just tell me a little bit more about, let's say, when you were growing this business from 0 to 76 employees.
Yeah.
What did you use any outside help? Was there any outside help that helped you in terms of, like, I know the banks definitely helped you, and then also I know that you put everything you had into it, because you have to get you have to spend money to build a business. You try to use everything, so it's tough to think like everyone's not like that. Everyone's afraid, everyone's not gonna do that because it's a risk, it's risky. And so, I mean, what would you say somebody who's starting out and they need maybe some outside help? Any way you suggest anywhere to help them start a business so they can be successful?
Yeah. The first, I would say, like this, how to educate. Like for me, when I'm learning, like I'll give a simple example, like real estate. I'm not going to wake up in the morning and I say I'm going to buy a property without having the knowledge of how to buy a property. What are the processes? What are the procedures? So I'll get a realtor. And not only getting a realtor, the other thing which I'm going to come to Kenny and I ask Kenny, you have done this a couple of times, because Kenny has made many mistakes before even me, I thought about buying a property. Yeah. So my first step is going to be like, Kenny, can you teach me some of the best principles first I have to look at even thinking about buying a property? So Kenny can come and tell me, okay, you want to buy a property, it's your first property you want to buy. But do you want to carry all the 100% of the responsibility of buying a property? I will tell Kenny, no. I want to at least save some money. Then Kenny can give me a best example, like, Brian, I think the best property fitting for you, if you don't want to carry 100% the responsibility, look at buying a multiple family house, whereby you have some tenants who can contribute towards your mortgage, and you too, you can contribute some of the percentage towards your mortgage, and then the rest you can reserve it onto your savings. So when I started a business, me and Lois, we looked at other people who have done the business. Says who know the right people to go to get the proper licenses, and which are the right licenses we had to get. And also we had to figure out which kind of software systems we have to use, because I don't run everything for me to grow. I have structure systems which are in place. I use systems like QuickBooks. I use systems like Access, ClearCare, all these medical systems which help me to structure my business, to be able to track the processes. I'm not going to track my caregivers if they clocked in at the right place or the right location or what. But these systems have navigations. They have GPS navigation. Someone cannot just come and tell me, boss, I was at work when they're not at work. The system tells me if they are even exactly at work when they clock in or they don't clock out. Yeah. So all those things put in place have helped me to really build the trust with my clients, especially, and also the caregivers, build a system of respect and trust with the caregivers, because, okay, I trust my caregivers, I trust my nurses, my LPNs and all the people we're working with, but there has to be a system which they follow. So, and also another thing which helped me is building a structure, a chain of structure. Okay, who does what, at what time, and how do they track on all these steps which are involved in? So, people like from our boss, the CEO, then we have the operations manager who manages all the operations. Then we have the CFO. Then also we have a board. I missed that step. So we have a board which also oversee us as the people who are, even if we are co-founders or we work actively in the business as the owners, but we have people who are outsiders who sit on this board, who look after us even because they don't have the interest in the business, but the interest they have in the business is to see the business growing.
Yeah.
So these structures are put in place to over guide us, like, okay, don't make this mistake, because I can make a rational decision, which is not good for the company. But if I expect that I will be questioned about a certain level, that helps me also to make the right decision.
Wow.
And then we have structures of like care coordinators who help out follow all these clinical managers, all these making communication between the clients, all that. So those structures are put in place really to guide us and make sure that we are taking the proper steps to grow as a company, and even creating good relationship with banks. So when you're a business, you need to see a credit union, is it the best fit for my business? A commercial bank, is it the best fit for my business? Because when you grow as a business, you need to look at, okay, how am I going to get, because you need to start looking at having line of credits for the business, because you may have all the liquidity you have, but you may use it for payroll, because your payroll keeps on growing. As you grow, your payroll grows.
Yes.
So you may not having $1 million seated around, laying around, but you need to build a good trust with the bank. When the bank sees like, okay, this person makes a deposit of almost like 400,000 a month, the bank is going to be like, okay, I think we are willing to give you some line of credit of $500,000. Have it around. If you need some money for payroll, you can use it as a backup. There's some belief which people say, I don't use any credit. And that's true. Some people there, they say, I don't use any credit, but you limit your growth. That's what I'm thinking. Like, because so many rare times, I will tell you, like among 10 people standing there, 1% will be able to survive using just credit, using just cash, excuse me. So, because you can't sustain everything by cash, apart from if you inherited money and just seated there $1 million, but most of the times you're going to at least leverage other people's money, because we need that's one of the things which everyone has to learn, leveraging other people. Because when Kenny gets his money, gets rent from his clients, deposits in the bank, deposits 100,000 in a bank. You know what the bank is going to do? It's going to multiply that money like 1,000 times in a second, because they're going to put in digits, borrow it for to you who is buying a car loan, borrow it to Brian who is coming to get a line of credit. All that. That's how they do. So you can't tell me you just focus on using what you have available. So you have to learn how to leverage other people's money. So that's one of the things which I said.
Wow, that's huge. You have to learn how to leverage other people's money. That's one of the best. I think in terms of having financial IQ, that's one of the most important things you should probably study. Learning how to leverage people's money or other people's money, where you can use it to help you become wealthy or start a business or do whatever you need to do. Like you said, for payroll, I just realized, like, you're right. The more, obviously, and it's obviously factual, the more the more you grow, the bigger your payroll. And now this Friday, tomorrow's payroll for me, and I'm like, oh man, I have so many people I have to pay. Like, it's really crazy, but it's so true. It really helps you grow, but then also your expenses obviously grow with it. But that's great. That's great, Brian. So what's like? I mean, so like you said, what's right now, like a brand new person? What's the best business structure for them? How to start? Like, what's the best business structure for just a beginner? And then, what should they do with the banks if they're new also to the banks also? Give us just a quick, analysis on what to do in terms of a proper quick structure for a newbie, and then a proper way to start a relationship with a bank.
Okay. If you a simple business structure, you haven't figured out yourself, because like in my lifetime, Kenny, I'll tell you, I've opened up 19 businesses in my name. Wow. Someone who said that guy is so confused.
Yeah.
But it's not being confused. I was figuring out what is the right fit for me. But today as I speak, I have only 2 companies. That's it. I've consolidated all the other companies, but at first I had to figure out, let me do this. So what the advice I would tell someone, open up a sole proprietorship, because a sole proprietorship, you're not going to having any responsibilities with the state, paying those state fees, annual reports, paying the LLC fees every year. So you just do activities when you have them. You just, like, the sole proprietorship is like, it's your schedule C on your taxes. when you have activities going on in everything which you want to do, that's when you use it. That's when you can add on those expenses onto your taxes. That's when you can add on the income onto your taxes. So 101, open up a sole proprietorship. You just go to your city with your ID and the city you live in, and they'll give you a sole proprietorship. It's even if you decide to close it, it's not going to affect you more like a S corporation or LLC or C corp, because those have a big structure. So the sole proprietorship is a small structure, is on a personal level. You can utilize it to add anything you want. But if you enter into, like as Kenny does real estate, you're going to enter into LLCs because you don't want to be sued and they take everything you have. So I'm just giving on the I'm just, as Kenny gave me the question, is like just the best of the best is a sole proprietorship, because then you can go to the bank and establish a business account. That gives you an opportunity to have a business account with a bank whereby they can track how many years you have been in a business. And the good thing with the sole proprietorship, as time goes on, you expand, you change it to an LLC or S corporation or C corp, any structure which can be best fit for you during that time when you are able to expand.
That's great.
So, in regards also to the question is like, you opening up a business account, that also helps you. Like, I see people buying auto loans. Don't buy don't get an auto loan car in your names. If you have a corporation, sole proprietorship, buy it under the business. So that credit doesn't go even to your personal credit. So some people don't know that. So you need to look into that, because when you have a sole proprietorship, you can get even a federal tax ID number for it itself on a separate side. So that ID to be working on all that stuff. So it separates you from all those liabilities. Thank you, Ken, for that.
No, that's the advice that I know that Brian knows, man. That's exactly the knowledge I want you guys to hear. You have to understand that you can start something small like a sole proprietorship and still get all the benefits. You know, that's a smart way to think of it, and still, you know, show up on your taxes in a good way. Also, you know, the fact that you can, you know, borrow money under a different entity, like he mentioned, like buying a car, buying under the company's name, it doesn't affect you personally. So if you want to go buy a house, you don't have that debt on you personally. It's under the company's name. That's the knowledge I'm talking about. No, that's great. That's great, Brian. So now you've built up a business. You know, you're making as big as you can. I know you want to talk about now. What's the end goal for you? Is it to pass it down to family? What's the exit plan? Are you planning on selling it? I mean, what's the big goal for you? What's the big goal for you and the wife?
So for me, I'm a billionaire in the making. That's why I wrote that. When you read my book, The Enterprising Entrepreneur, I'm talking about that. Like, and people ask me every time, Kenny, like, why did you name your book The Enterprising Entrepreneur? Kenny, I haven't figured it out. Every day I'm figuring it out. So I'm still enterprising. Every day I'm learning a new skill. So the next book I'm writing, Kenny, is that when I figure it out, part of it. So my next goal, like my exit plan, is that I'm in the billionaire in the making, and that's one of my stretch goals, which I'm targeting on. I want to build a healthcare company, which is $1 billion. When it is $1 billion, I'm looking for a buyer, please, guys. That's the goal.
Cash out? You gonna cash out?
I cash out because my goal at the end of the day, to share with you guys, I want to build churches. That's my goal. I want to go out, go build churches. So right now, today, in the pipeline, I'm thinking about starting building a church next year. So that's my mission. I want to see building God's churches. That's my passion. And I'm excited to start that ministry in the next future. Yeah.
Wow. No, that's I mean, that's your why. I guess that's why you work so hard. That's why you want to build up mindful healthcare to $1 billion healthcare industry. And there's so many of us. So you obviously it's already going to be done. You know, like you said, billionaire in the making, man. That's a great industry to be in, because he's already tapped in an industry that has a very large majority of people going into it, in terms of the baby boomers, in terms of people retiring, nursing homes, assisted livings, everywhere. I mean, if you look everywhere, every town has a bunch of them, or a lot of people maybe in their own personal homes that need healthcare. He facilitates all those people. That's great, and that's why it's easy. I could easily see in every state, and make it $1 billion industry.
And add on to that, Kenny, like you see, one of my things which I'm thinking which has helped me to be on track to reach that goal or to looking for the future for the $1 billion is that one principle I'm fighting in my life every day is procrastination. Kenny, every day you are telling people start something. Chapter 4 of my book, I'm talking about procrastination because it was the first thing I had to get medicine for. People, we like every day, I want to do something and I say, let me extend it to another day. Let me extend it to another day. And I will tell you, I would have reached so many goals so far away, but like the procrastination killed a lot of my dreams. So like the moment I learned that, Kenny, the most important other thing which we teach, I think, people is to try their best, not procrastinate on anything. So if you believe into something, you can get it. Don't procrastinate. Don't procrastinate. Like today, me and Ken were talking about like what Ken is even breaking it down for you the best way to structure it. What is the simplest way someone can start today, Brian? Like which business, which structure? Today you have given them like this is sole proprietorship. So no one should be even who is going to watch this to even procrastinate at anyone's time to say, oh, I'll start next year. Oh, I'll start the other year. Start today. Today. That's how all these things which we are teaching you today, you can best utilize them. Because if you don't utilize them today when you learn them, you're not going to be able to utilize them in the future.
That's the truth, man. That's the truth. I always tell people, start, man. Start. That's how I started everything. Just start.
Yeah.
You know, even if it fails, just start, man. Just go. That's great. And so let's just Brian's giving you so many knowledge. I hope you guys have taken notes. And if you have not, I suggest you rewind this and listen to it again and really take notes and understand what's going on. And procrastination is huge. A lot of people's dreams die just because they procrastinate. They say, oh, first I'm too old, I'm too young. And they say I'm too old, and they're done. So, great stuff here, Brian. So,
thank you.
Let me ask, in terms of people actually knowledge now, getting knowledge, where would you suggest people go? I mean, any books, anything you suggest in terms of people improve their mind?
Yeah. So, like, you see, I have Audible. Like, my goal as me, I want to share with the people is like, I make sure that every month I listen to 4 audiobooks. Every month. That's a track. Like in a year, that gives me around like, I think like 48 books, which I read in Audible. I utilize it to the maximum. Because when you buy some stuff on Amazon, they give you those Audible credits. So I'm utilizing them to the maximum. I'm building, because when I'm working out, when I'm like at home, like in the morning, I give myself like 30 minutes of listening because I'm showering. I'm listening because I'm consuming information. That's how I'm able to learn. Consume as much information. Information, like your mind is too big. You don't know how much information even you can consume. People are scared of consuming information. So that's what I do. I listen to 4 books every month, and I try at least to read 2 books a month. So that I do it with my wife. So if she's reading something, she can tell me I'm reading on this, then I try to read. So I mix out like some biblical books and also some business books. Then I mix it out some principal books. Right now, there was this book which I was reading, My First 100 Million. By that one. I got the audio one. I looked for the original book, nowhere to be seen. It's a nice book. If anyone has a copy, please send Ken a message. I would love to get it.
Yeah, the first. It's a good book. It's called The First 100 Million, right?
Yeah. My First 100 Million.
My First 100
Million.
Million.
Another one which I'm doing is don't know if Kenny. I think Kenny, you know this one. The next 50 things that made the modern economy. You know about that one?
Yes.
Yeah. So by Tim. So that's one of the books which I'm reading. But my best book of all times, it is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. That's my number 1 book. I'll not lie to anyone. Because compound effect is important in everything which you do. So important. Like one of my goals, like a couple of years ago, it was I needed to lose weight, but the only way I could lose weight is applying the principle of compound effect. I try to make sure that, okay, my diet changes and I keep it consistently like that. Another thing I tried, okay, how many times I exercise, because you have to do something consistently to become part of your life. And if the more you do it, you're compounding on it. So Compound Effect is one of my best books. It has helped me to grow financially, because like it gives you the consistency of knowing, like, allocating percentages of where do you allocate your money, and you continue compounding that money. Because I tell people, like, you see a year goes by so quick, but you can do a lot in a year if you know how to compound your income, or if you know how to use the compound effect principles. Yeah.
It's one of the best, man. It's one of the best books. I have it back here. I definitely have it. I know I have that book. It's one of my favorite books. I think that's one of my. I have a couple of books that I pick every single year, and I have to listen to them every single year. At least read them once a year, over and over again.
Oh, you do that? That's really good.
Yeah, some books, I think that's one of them. And I feel like I think one of them that also is Think and Grow Rich. I listen to that.
That one's good.
Yeah. Think and Grow Rich. I listen to that at least once a year, or read it once a year. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, Compound Effect obviously is definitely a top 10 also for me. Great.
And because you know what, Ken, what I can add on to people, like, as you said, like that, those books you repeat every year, because you see, when you read, the first time you may not get it. It's like you're in school. So me, I keep like certain principles of books. Like, let me say, I try to keep like 10 books, which I continuously every year I repeat them again. Like, it's the same information, but those books stand with the principles which I want to grow in through. So that's why I keep on reading them every year. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. All right, so we're almost done here, Brian. Thank you, man. I appreciate the time too, man. So let's say, how about mentors? Anybody you follow? Anybody you know that inspires you? Anybody that's big for you? Who's any maybe top 3 mentors, or somebody that you follow that you maybe follows? Anybody?
Number one, first of all, so my first mentor is my father. So I thank God that he's still alive, and he's guiding me through a lot of stuff, like because I've grown seeing him, and I had a lot of principles, the good principles I learn from him every day, and I continue learning that from him. And the next, I have other virtual mentors, people who I follow, people I learn from, and these people, like, it has helped me to grow as an individual. Like, one of them is Kadon. So I've listened to Kadon, love his stuff. Like, he has some certain skills or principles which I like for business, like structuring the business. Like, in business, what eats us mostly is fear. I like the part of him growing, not having any resistance on growing, and every day you see him is wanting to grow more. That's the part which I really, why I follow him as a mentor, like learning his principles. And because in the business industry which I'm in, also it's about sales. So I want to if you know how to sell, you're growing. If you don't know how to sell, you're not growing. So that's my main issue. Another mentor, surprising, you're going to be shocked on this one. It's you. I learn from you real estate every day, and I learn in which steps I might have to set. No, because I told Kenny last time, I know he was going to laugh, because I told him, like, I'm still leaving you for the real estate thing in America, but like, I'm learning from him every day. There are some certain steps which I'm taking, and I'm like, okay, how would Kenny do this? Like, that gives me motivation. For me, there's no, I want to tell people, there's no level of someone how big they are to learn from them. It might be your brother, it might be your young sister, but if they have those principles which you believe in, and they have those principles which can help you grow, never in life say the person you're going to learn, who's going to be your mentor, has to be big than you, who has to be doing this. No, those principles, that's what you follow. That's my take. Okay, thank you.
Oh, that's true. That's so true. That's great. Now, we're almost done here. you follow people. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for asking me that. I'm a mentor. I don't think I'm a mentor yet, man. I think I'm still small fried, man.
No, Kenny.
I'm still small, man. I'm still small.
If you did not, now I'm telling you, because some people may be, Kenny, so many people out there, and like for me, I'm one of those people. Kenny, the number one thing which has helped me to grow, I'll tell you, the first time I made $1 million in my life, it was because of me being humble. Because millionaires, you're not going. People see millionaires every day and they're thinking like, oh, how does a millionaire look like? There's no better way of how does a millionaire look like. But the principle of being humble and the principle of respecting everyone around you and respecting knowledge. Okay, people don't respect knowledge. That's why they're not growing. So today it has given me a chance to tell people, respect knowledge. Whatever it's your young sister, whatever it's which person at any level, if they're knowledgeable about something, take that respect, listen, give in time, and you learn more. That's how you grow. You don't grow if you're just saying like you know everything. No, you don't.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
And for me, I just want to know also, man, maybe I can learn from you. What any habits you suggest for people out there? Any habits to that helped you become successful? Any certain habits besides? I know you said that you read the Audible, you read 4 books a month. Anything else that you suggest for people out there that can help them hopefully become successful as you?
So one of the things is that communication. Like everyone who is around me, I try to communicate. Communication is one of the hardest things people can practice. But even if I'm not going to fulfill something, I tell someone, like I'm not going to be able to do it. Even if I learn something, be in communication with someone. It doesn't matter how many times you communicate. Communicate. That's what even I tell the people who are working with me and the people who work with. Communicate 1,000 times, 100 times. Communication is key. Another thing, every day as you are living, challenge yourself to meet a new person in life. I'm on the street walking, dropping off my mails in the street. I meet someone. Oh, hello, how are you doing? Like, what do you do? Like, don't fear strangers. Strangers have your money. If you fear strangers, you're not going to grow. Because I tell people, if your life has not changed, that means you have not met a lot of new strangers in your life.
True.
People,
So true.
you need to meet a lot of new strangers in your life. That's how you're going to find out what can you do more. How can you better yourself? Because every new stranger you get in your life comes with new opportunities, comes with new challenges, and that's how life moves on.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, they tell sometimes kids, be afraid of strangers, but it's so true. Yeah. Strangers have everything that you want, everything that you asking for. You're not gonna find $100 million on the ground. It's somebody else has your $100 million, or a business has your 100. Like, you have to think like that. Strangers have everything you have, everything that you want. So Brian, well, great stuff, man. I was thinking, what last advice would you give somebody else? Just to finish out, any last tip for in terms of business, in terms of business finance? I mean, anything that you suggest for people? I know that you said you really egged on people starting, but any last tip before we close out the show?
One of the things which I tell people, like there are people in the world who have given their time to teach others what they've learned. So please take on the opportunity to learn from these people. Take on the opportunity to attend these things, like this Zoom call which we're doing today. Take on opportunities, because it's these people are busy, but they're willing to take a chance on you. They're willing to give their opportunities. This is the way they are giving back. If someone is giving back like this, take on the opportunity to listen, to learn, ask questions. Be that kind of person who wants to learn more. The moment you are like that kind of person, you're going to be able to learn more. You're going to be able to open yourself to more opportunities. That's one of the advice I tell people. And another thing is, challenge yourself. Today, do something different you didn't do yesterday. That's the two things I would tell them, Kenny.
Yeah. No, that's a great way to finish it. I mean, guys, challenge yourself, push yourself, be better today than you were yesterday. you know, and to more like be better every single day. And I think that's how Brian and the wife have grown the business from zero. I'm telling you guys, from zero to 76 employees to people working for them with, you know, I don't even know what the payroll is, but Brian's come out from, you know, and pushed himself and his company. He wants to build $1 billion business, you know, started from CVS and worked his way up, you know, got denied 5 times at DCU, you know, pushed himself, started learning about credit, insurance, and income. And those are the important things that help you grow in this country. So you have to study them and learn them. And he put himself in a mindset to learn. He said he continuously learned and pushed himself to learn. You know, he was curious, and also, you know, he has a work ethic. He said, you know, if you could work 100 hours, work those 100 hours, because you're not going to get those 100 hours back, you know, which is very knowledge to understand. That's important to understand. If you could work now, you might as well do the work now when you can actually do it, instead of when you're 60 years old. And, you know,
because Kenny, like, to just add on to that, like, just quickly, like, you see, I tell someone, you don't have 1 million hours to live now. The moment you're born, you no longer have 1 million hours to live. So just look into that sense.
It's just, you know, it's just a time clock. It's just a time clock. But, you know, also Brian talked about business systems. You know, understand that you have to build systems, because obviously he wants to do other high level things, and he put people in places to be able to do the stuff he needs to for his business, you know, and told you, you know, even if you start with a sole proprietorship, just start. Go out there and start something, man. Do something that's productive, that you could feel like maybe it can help you in the future. And, you know, that's what I think that, you know, he's giving you some great books to follow, you know, some great habits to follow. Maybe just start with 1 book a month. You know, if you can't get 4 books a month, start with something. Start with a page a day. You know, he talked about just start something. So, Brian, man, thank you, man. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Ken.
You know, you guys are doing great, man. Keep going, man. You're a black entrepreneur building $1 billion business, man, and I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you.
You know, I hope I can help you in any way I can. Of course, you know, I have your help. I have your
always.
Yeah, of course, I have your back. But man, thank you again for coming on the show, guys. We are here we're gonna try to come every Thursday, at least once a month, and put out a show and bring out knowledge for people out there, to bring to people, knowledgeable people, not just myself, because all my episodes are on there. They're on Anchor, all of them about me talking and giving you guys advice. But now I want to bring on people, experts in their industry, so they can show you what they've done to improve themselves, and hopefully you guys can take some knowledge from that and improve yourselves. All right, guys, thanks again for coming on the show. We appreciate you guys. Follow us. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We're on Zoom. We're on, you know, everywhere you can think of us. Find us. We can help you. But also make sure you reach out to us. Brian, how can they reach out to you if they want to reach out to you?
If they can get you, they can get me.
Yeah, exactly. The network is big, man. We're trying to build a big network here. So, guys, I appreciate you guys. Thanks again, Brian, for the time. Say hi to everyone. I appreciate it. Guys, until next time.
Guys.
No problem, guys. I'll see you at the top.
Okay. Bye-bye, Kenny.